Vicky, Marie, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. I'm so sorry, late again, usual chaos, car problems. I'm going to have a little waffle to start off with. So, as always, for those of you who don't like the waffle, this is the time. Go make yourself a cup of tea, or wait till later when I put out the video without the waffle. But I am going to start off by waffling. I've got quite a bit of waffle, but the main thing is what we're going to talk about in this video, of course, is the latest in the stalking trial of these two lovely women. Karen Sprague, we don't hear much about her, do we? Because obviously most of it is taken up with Julia. Julia is the fake Madeleine, the Polish Madeleine, all different things she gets called, bless her. You know, a woman with, or a young woman, very young really, clearly with mental health issues, who probably genuinely does believe she is Madeleine because she's been encouraged, hasn't she, by unscrupulous other people, older people who should know better, like Karen Sprague, YouTubers using her for clicks and likes, encouraging her in her delusions. She has been encouraged, and she's been encouraged to a point where she is now probably going to look at prison time. Well, she'll be deported from the UK, I imagine, because of course she was arrested as soon as she set foot on UK soil earlier this year, because the police knew, I suppose, that she was coming over to do some more stalking of the poor McCann family. And I do feel for this family. You know, whatever you think of Jerry and Kate and whatever happened to little Madeleine years ago, she definitely should not have been left on her own in that apartment with the other two children. You know, but that's water under the bridge in a way. I mean, we can't change that, can we? You know, they were all left on their own, and luckily Sean and Amelie were not taken as well. Sean and Amelie are now adults in their own right, and they've been stalked by Julia and Karen. That is so wrong. They are complete innocents in this whatever. They didn't leave children on their own in the apartment. They didn't do anything. You know, some people believe that Kate and Jerry know exactly what happened to Madeleine McCann, and maybe they do. But Amelie and Sean are completely innocent. So it's terrible that they've been stalked, upset, you know, whatever. Kate and Jerry, you know, I feel for them as well at the end of the day. But of course, they've courted public attention in the early days. So, you know, they're sort of, they've got public attention. They used to want it. Now they don't want it. But, you know, it's too late now because the cork was let out the bottle, wasn't it? But as far as Amelie and Sean are concerned, you know, it's wrong to stalk them. And these women, particularly Karen, honestly, I just think, what is she doing? And 60 odd years of age, acting the way she's acted and encouraging this poor girl. And I do feel for Julia, except sometimes I do think that Julia doesn't really feel for anybody else, does she? She only cares about Julia. So my sympathy for her is a little bit diluted for that. Anyway, that's the main thing about this video. We're going to progress with this stalking trial. And yesterday, Julia gave evidence, and we're going to look at the evidence of what she says, not evidence, what she says, the reasons why she thinks she is Madeleine McCann. And then we can make our own minds up, can't we? So that's the main thing we're going to be talking about in this video. Of course, first of all, I want to say my thank yous as normal. Thank you to everyone for liking, subscribing. Thank you to my members especially. Thank you, a really big thank you to people that have PayPal me or bought Ko-fis or sent super stickers. You know, definitely with this car situation, it's very, very welcome. Thank you so much. And yeah, anyone who's contributed to my channel in any positive way, either financial or otherwise, thank you so much. So let's take the banner off, and then we're going to have a little waffle. So I've got a little bit of waffle. So my car is still broken. So, and very sadly, I mean, very sadly, my mechanic, who normally, needs a mobile mechanic because it's not actually, where it's parked or where it broke down. And they unfortunately have had a crisis, a bereavement, so it's made everything even more complicated. Yeah, just can't even think about this car situation anymore. It's just, anyway, it's a nightmare. But there you go. So the other thing I just wanted to have a little waffle about, which actually isn't depressing, it'd be nice to talk about something that's not depressing, is I was watching on the news this morning. See, I just bought this little stepper. It's a very basic sort of €9.99 stepper, not stepper, step monitor. I didn't want anything complicated. I'm crap with gadgets. I didn't want anything that needed an app. I just wanted something that measured my steps so that I can make sure I'm doing the right number of steps every day. I don't do loads of exercise. I'm not an exercise freak, as you could probably tell. If but I do like to keep walking. Walking is I like walking. If I can't get out and walk, I quite often walk around the house, which sounds ridiculous, but you get steps in all the same. I can walk around my classroom downstairs. It's quite spacious. And also that way, I can just do 15-minute bursts. I can go to the loo if I want to go to the loo. If I get tired, I can just stop. Sometimes if you go out on these big, massive, long walks and you get stuck out in the, and then you suddenly realise, don't you, you've got to walk back to the car. You do these long walk and you're enjoying it, and then you think, oh, I'm getting tired now. I think I'm going to turn back, and you think, oh God, I've got to walk all the way back to the car now. And I'm a great believer in exercise of some kind. I can't bear jogging. I never did like I did go for a very brief phase of jogging when I was about 30. And I didn't enjoy it then. I mean, you never see a jogger that looks like they're enjoying it, do you? And I'm a great believer in not using up too many heartbeats, because I saw a scientist years ago say that we're born with a certain number of heartbeats, and although obviously it's bad to not do any exercise, you should not do too much exercise because your heartbeats get used up too quick. That's what he said, and that I'm taking that as my mantra. Yeah, jogging, I don't know what it is about jogging, but it just, people always look like they're grimacing, don't they? They never look like they're smiling and enjoying it. Anyway, any excuse, but I never liked it. When I was younger, when I was in my 30s, that's probably the fittest that I ever was, sort of in my early 30s. I used to like squash. I did go circuit training, and I'd go I mean, I did most, it's probably, as I say, the fittest that I've ever been. It was all downhill from then on, really. I went to the gym, all those things. So, but I think, even at my advanced stage now, I do, and even though, I'm definitely not a person that somebody would look at and think, oh, well, they look like they really sort of look after themselves. I've always believed in sort of keeping moving for as long as you can. Now, some people can't keep moving, and that's what gets me going sometimes, because I think, oh, when I don't feel like doing that walk, and I think, oh, you need to walk while you can, because who knows when you suddenly won't be able to walk for whatever reason. You might have some health issue or whatever. So yeah, you never feel like it, do you? But you always feel good once you've done it. So yeah, I've got my little stepper. And then I was encouraged to see that for a lady of my advanced years, 6,000 steps apparently is enough, because I always used to try and do 10,000 steps. But apparently 6,000 is enough. So, and you can do it in short bursts. You don't have to go for like a 2-hour walk and do all your steps in one burst. Apparently just 15-minute bursts ago. I was watching that on the telly this morning. So there you go. If you're out there and you're trying to get a little bit healthier, but you don't want to go mad, like thing is that you never should think, oh God, I've got to run for an hour every day, or I've got to walk for 2 hours, or I've got to do this, or I've got to go to the gym for 3 hours. Short bursts, isn't it? Just that make you feel better. And what I find here, because I live in Spain, of course, in the summer, it's impossible to exercise except for swimming. It's just too hot to walk anywhere. So we've got into a point now, it's 21 degrees today. That is really cool for Spain from what we've been used to. So it does make you feel more like walking. It's impossible to walk in 40 degrees heat unless you go out at like 6 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, there you go. I was funny because I just started doing this about a week ago, and then it was all on the BBC News this morning about, so it must be true, about walking and how, short walks, tailored to your age. You know what I mean? I can't do the exercise I could do when I was 30. Now I'm double the age, but doesn't mean to say I can't do something. And even chair yoga and things for people who have got mobility issues. There's a lot you can do without moving much. So yeah, just finding what's good for you, isn't it? So I just wanted to waffle about that because I think that makes people feel good. And I always try and lose a little bit of weight before Christmas because, at Christmas you're going to put on weight. So if you try and lose, I don't know, half a stone or something before Christmas, that means you've got half a stone to play with at Christmas. That's the way I look at it, because, at the end of the day, you're going to eat things you shouldn't eat at Christmas, and no point in thinking that you're not going to, you are going to. So, yeah, there you go. That's my little bit of waffle, and as I say, don't take me as some sort of, I'm definitely not the person to think, oh yeah, like exercise guru. I'm not. Just gentle little bits of exercise for people like me. Or what is people like me who are not like exercise gurus or don't, but can do a little bit and it makes you feel better. So that's all. That's all I'm saying. So, hello, you lovely lurkers. Thank you for watching. Hello to you replay crew. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much. And now I'm going to come into the chat and see who's brave enough to put their head above the parapet and also listen to my crap. So, and don't worry, for those of you who don't like my crap waffle, I am going to start very quickly. So, hi Lily. Hi Blue. Hi Daniel. Happy Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? Is it Tuesday? Do you know, it feels like bloody Friday already because I feel like so much happened and it's only been 2 days into the week. It's just like, honestly, I don't know what day it is. I really don't. It's just, there's always something going on. There's always something going on. Anyway, let me know how you all are, what you've been up to. Let me know which part of the world you're watching from. And yeah. Hi, Moonbeam. Are you looking? Are you feeling better now? How are you? Yeah. So I know from messages, from emails that people have sent me, a lot of people are having difficult times for various reasons. And although it's pain in the ass, my car being broken, it's costing me a fortune to get for taxes and things like that because that's the dog. It's a pain in the ass because to get my son to work, so he doesn't get paid till the end of the month. So it's all an absolute nightmare. And now my poor mechanic, he's had a bereavement. I feel terrible for him. Anyway, you know what? I'm handing it all over. I decided that this month because there's really not anything else I can do. So we don't even know how we're going to get. We've been very lucky with lifts from friends and things like that, or cheap tax, you know, just having to give him the petrol money, etc. Very lucky, but unfortunately, one person who's been helping out, they've gone away this week. So we're really struggling. But do you know what? When you think about how people are struggling, it's nothing really. Our problems, or my problems, you know, they're important to me, of course. They're important to me. All our problems, however small, are important to us because they're our problems. But there's so many people out there with bigger problems. I always try and sort of appreciate, even though bad things happen sometimes, appreciate still all the good things, and it could be so much worse, etc. And yeah, I know there's a lot of people in this world, and a lot of my followers who, you know, you are the people that I care about, who are struggling one way or another. And it could be financially, it could be car problems, it could be health problems, it could be bereavement, it could be mental health issues. You know, there's so many, you know, life's hard, isn't it? Sometimes it's hard getting up every morning. Sometimes you put one foot in front of the other, and, you know, sometimes people's bravery and what they do day in, day out, you know, to look after their families, get up, go to work, even though they don't feel like it, because they know they've got to. You know, it's people are heroes, aren't they? Really, we're all sort of heroes in our own way. We're all snowflakes. We're all are individual and beautiful in our own way. And you know, that's why I always say at the end, or try and remember to say at the end, look after you as well, because there's probably a lot of you out there that just keep going for other people. You know, there's probably times when you wish you didn't have to get out of bed or go to work or do this or do that, but you know, these people relying on you, and those are the real heroes in life, aren't they? The people that do it even though they really don't feel like doing it, but they know that other people are relying on them, because you know, we do need people, whether we like it or not, don't we? You know, we're all, some of us are the doers and some of us are the takers, if you like, but I'm not criticizing them either. Some people can't do that, can't be that strong, so we have to prop them up, don't we, our loved ones and that. So yeah, good, I'm glad you're getting there. So let's have a look at this. So you'll be glad to know, you lurkers who don't like the waffle, I finished the waffle now, and we're going to look what happened in the trial yesterday. So the trial resumed yesterday, and we're following the Sky News sort of timeline, if you like, or let's see what happened yesterday. It's fine, got to go down. So there's quite a lot, so we will have a break halfway through, but got to find my way down to the bottom. So there must be more before this, but I don't know. Oh, there it is. Load more. So I do think it's interesting because it gives us a bit of an insight into Julia, and also about her reasons. Because remember, she'd already pretended to be two other women. She'd already pretended to be two other women. Oops. Two other children that had gone missing. She'd already thought she was them. So, you know, Madeleine is not where's that gone? Madeleine is not the first person she has thought she is. And I think that's a key. To me, Julia is just so desperate that she's not to be Julia. Where's that gone now? Oh. To me, Julia is just so desperate not to be Julia. You know, she literally, if she thought she could be somebody else, it wouldn't matter who she was. So, right, we've already done that. 27th of October, we looked at those. Come on. Yeah. Okay, so from when the court started yesterday, the court was first walked through a document which was supplied to the jury about DNA testing. And the document runs through where and how a series of DNA samples were taken, going into specifics on tests and methods of analysis. Sorry, I just need to put a few windows down. I've got too many windows open already. Get my screen clear so that I don't get mixed up with things. Yeah. So Mr. Michael Duck, remember quack quack? I mean, sorry. Oh God. I think I've got the giggles today. Do you know what? Because it's like I feel I'm in that stage where if you didn't laugh, you'd cry sort of thing about things. So Michael Duck, KC, it looks like quack, doesn't it? Prosecution goes through, I'm so childish, I should grow up really, goes through the document outlining the examples listed. And Madeleine McCann's father, Jerry, is mentioned. So, Officer Tom Sislak is the first witness of today's proceedings. He's asked by Tom Price, KC Defence, about a conversation between his client Julia Wandel, 24. I mean, she's only 24. I mean, that is young, isn't it? It is young. And, she's obviously so unhappy being Julia. She just would like to be anybody else, wouldn't she? So but there's your first, I mean, she's 24, is still 2 years too old to be, 2 or 3 years too old to be Madeleine, isn't it? Because Madeleine would be 21, I think, now. So she's from Lubin in southwest Poland, and Sergit Singh, who's described as a publicist. So Singh, the court hears, claims to have broken dozens of big stories. Yeah. They're all the big I ams, aren't they? All these, and they're all men. All these men, either the YouTubers or the bloody, this guy, they're all big I ams, aren't they? Yeah, he's broken dozens of big stories. Oh, yeah, I'm fantastic. And taken on the biggest newspapers in the land. They're all full of ego, aren't they? How brilliant they are. They discussed her taking a DNA test in an alleged attempt to prove she was Madeleine McCann, the court hears. And the conversation took place on the 3rd of December 2024. In it, he allegedly tells Wandel, once we do that and whether the aims match, whether the DNA matches or not, then we'll plan our next step. And Price says the conversation further goes, Singh, if your DNA doesn't match to them, then you can't be her. And she said, yes, I know. And according to that transcript, the pair then go on to discuss what could be done after the DNA test takes place. So at least he told her that if your DNA doesn't match, then you can't be her. Tom Price, KC for Defence, continues to discuss the relationship between the publicist Sergit Singh and Julia Wandel, which we touched on in the post just below this one. He says there were messages between the two in which Singh repeatedly reaffirmed his support for Wandel and even titled son, "You are Madeleine McCann." See how he's encouraging her in her delusion. I mean, this is what makes me angry about these people, because they've landed Julia in a position where she's probably going to go to prison because of them. encouraging her in her delusions, instead of saying, let's, until we get the DNA test, you know, we don't know that you are Madeleine. Or, oh, hang on a minute, how come you're 2 years older than Madeleine? Oh, how come, you know, your parents say you weren't adopted? She's not even adopted. She wants to have been adopted because she doesn't want to be Julia Wandel. She doesn't want to be her parents to be her parents. But there's no proof that she was adopted or anything. Do you know, it's like she's sort of created this delusion, and it's been encouraged by people like this. So Price adds that Singh presents himself as a competent, respected publisher. He adds that the defendant had a genuine and honestly held belief she is Madeleine McCann. And the court also hears that on the 14th of February this year, Singh said he believes DNA evidence is conclusive. But what DNA evidence? Does it just mean DNA evidence in general? Anyway. Simon Russell Flint, Casey, defence for Karen Spragg. Now, we haven't heard that much from him. It's all mainly been about either the prosecution or Julia's defence. But of course, we must remember that Karen is also being charged. Karen by name, Karen by nature, 60-odd-year-old woman, encouraging this poor girl. So, as a reminder, Spragg, 61, is also accused of travelling to the home of Madeleine McCann's parents along with Julia Wandel. I mean, how would you even think about doing that? Whatever you thought, to actually go to their house, to me, that just straight away is stalking, because, you know, and it's not as if she lived around the corner. She thought, oh, just pop round. You know, she's gone all the way from Cardiff to stalk the McCanns. So on the morning of attending the McCann's family address, because they stalked the vigil, didn't they? So the McCanns can't even go to their own daughter's vigil. Spragg allegedly called Leicestershire police. She gave her name, and she didn't want to give the details of her complaint over the telephone, and she said she wished to do so in person. However, he says she was told this wasn't possible. Instead, she was given details of Beaumont Leys police station. The court then heard that Spragg and Wandel arrived at the property around 30 minutes before Jerry and Kate got home. And Mr. Russell Flint says there's no proof that they were rummaging through the family's bins in this time. So I think there's been some accusations flung around. That they were rummaging through the bins looking for something to test for DNA. But he is saying, Karen Spragg's defence lawyer says there's no proof that they were. Don't know. There she is. There she is. Karen by name, Karen by nature. Terrible that she's encouraged Julia, in my opinion. Anyway, then he moves on to discussing his client's arrest. He asked the day's first witness, police officer Tom Cieslak, whether there could have been an alternative to arresting Spragg. Instead, Russell Flint asks if police could have said, don't do this, don't contact the McCanns, and give her a warning that if she did do this again, she might be committing offence. Cieslak is also asked about the timings of the arrest. The court then moved on to discussing an interview that the co-defendant Karen Spragg did with the police. While he was questioning the policeman, Spragg's lawyer Simon Russell Flint said the officer tried to get her to speculate as to why the McCanns refused to take part in a DNA test. Russell Flint said that Spragg offered her reasoning for that, adding that she believed that this fanned the flames of suspicion. And the proceedings then move on to Spragg's second arrest. So, you know, she was given a warning by being arrested once. I mean, and then she just went on, you know, and carried on doing it. I mean, I do think they've all had a lot of warning. Hi, Paula. Hi, Emma from Wales. they had been warned before they were arrested. And when we listened to Kate and Jerry's testimony, of course, they were saying that they would not have gone to the police except they started on Amelie and Sean. That was the final straw. Cieslak says Spragg was arrested for a second time after reviewing messages on her phone. Why, if you wanted to question her further, would you not make an appointment? Russell Flint asks, calling into question the decision. Then Karen Spragg allegedly tried to add Madeleine McCann's mum to a group chat she was in. I just can't see how, whatever you thought, we're all interested in the Madeleine McCann case. It's one of the biggest mysteries, isn't it? It's a most high profile case of its time. Missing child's case, it's international. And we're all interested in it. But would you try and do this? I mean, really? Her defence runs the court for a series of points to evidence that the jury has been provided. He says they tried to add Kate McCann. It wasn't accepted and nothing posted was ever seen. And so Spragg is accused of stalking the family, but she denies the charge. So then we heard from the prosecution again, which initially sticks to the same point the defence just raised. Simon said Kate McCann was never added to any group chat. The prosecution outlined some of the messages within that group as they tried to add her. Michael Duck, so childish. It always makes me smile every time I say that name. But what else can you say? That's his name. Tells the court one of the messages read, "Can you add Kate, please?" Moving on to some of the other messages shared between the defendants, Duck then says that Julia Wandel messaged Spragg about the alleged visit to the McCanns, and the court hears that Wandel told Spragg, "I need to make her see me and look at me." So, of course, when the McCanns gave their testimony, the Jerry and Kate, they were there in the courtroom, but a blue curtain was put over them, so they didn't have to look at Julia and Karen. So policeman Tom Cieslak is still in the witness box and now facing questions from the prosecution about Surjit Singh. He is described as a publicist who supported Julia. He is said to advised her about how to build her online presence. I mean, one thing you can say that he was successful in was helping Julia to build her online presence. I mean, she was all over everything, Facebook, all social media, YouTubes, you name it. So the court hears that Wandel provided him with DNA, eye matching, voice matching, teeth matching, and health records. And then it's shown a transcript of the call between the two. And the court is told that Singh says, "You're just giving the game away. You're like a chess player who's telling everybody what your next move is going to be." And according to the transcript, he says, "I want you to keep your chin up, okay?" I mean, why is he not being prosecuted with something? Why is it the women that he's encouraged to stalk? He should face some consequences. In fact, the YouTubers that encouraged her, they should face consequences as well. They shouldn't be able to just, encourage people, deluded people. So the comments are made in reference to Wandel's repeated online posts the court hears. And Singh, the jury hears, asks her to do nothing for a few weeks. Then the junior counsel for the prosecution goes on to tell the court about a conversation that the defendant had with ChatGPT. And we saw that. We watched that the video where it was said about that. Julia asked ChatGPT if she could be Madeleine McCann, and they said that she could be. So that, so it must be true. So the court hears that a conversation between Wandel and the AI chatbot took place on 31st of January this year over a 7-minute period starting just before 2 a.m. And Wandel's first message is said to be Caitlin Selena Rivera missing girl. This is a young girl who went missing in Pennsylvania in 1999. And then she was thought she was her as well. Julia just doesn't want to be Julia. She doesn't, she could be, she wants to be anyone except Julia, doesn't she? Anyone will do, anyone she can find. It's sad. She doesn't want to be Julia Wandel. She wants to be Madeleine, or if she can't be Madeleine, she'll be Caitlin, she'll be anybody rather than Julia. So she asked the chatbot about a specific birthmark that Rivera had, and the AI told Wandel that Rivera had a birthmark on her back near her left shoulder blade. I mean, the one thing that we do know is she can't be both. She can either be, she could be Madeleine McCann, or she could be the other girl, but she can't be both of them. So the prosecution continues to address the court, moves on to a conversation between Karen Sprague and YouTuber Steve Dempster. I haven't got a clue who he is, so he didn't do very well raising his profile. Do any of you know that YouTube channel? I know we don't talk about YouTube channels on my channel, but if any of you know that channel, let me know. I don't mind you saying it because I haven't got a clue who he is. So he interviewed Julia Wandel. I know lots of others have, and as I say, they're all men. They've passed Julia around. It's almost like exploitation to me. It's almost like, oh yeah, you have an interview with Julia. Oh, I've done that. Right, go on, you can have her for this interview. It's horrible. It's like she's been shared around. It's revolting what they've done to this woman, I think. All in cahoots, like passing her around. Horrible. Anyway, the court hears, Sprague says that rules were needed for Wandel because she wanted to find Kate. And the court hears that Dempster then tells Sprague, make sure she does it right. She's got one chance at this. Sprague says, can you try and convince her that going to Kate isn't the right idea? I think she needs to be patient. Turning up at their house and work is not a good idea. So you were right, Karen, but you ended up going with her. Why didn't you just say you wouldn't go with her? And she adds, I don't think she should go to Leicester, but Julia is Julia, and she thinks Kate will help her. I don't think she will. Of course, it's Leicester, not Scotland, that they live. I always think they live in Scotland. I don't know why. It's because Jerry's Scottish, I suppose. But yeah, it's still not just round the corner, is it, from where Karen lives? They had to make a trip to go there. So she adds, I don't think she should go to Leicester, but Julia is Julia, and she thinks Kate will help her. I don't think she will. Instead, the two suggested getting a DNA test and trying to get a reporter interested. Then they broke for lunch. Let's see, I'm not going to do the recap. So this is interesting. So apparently she wanted to be an X-ray technician, but ended up quitting university. So anyway, so this is her testimony. But what we're going to hear now is what Julia had to say. So, yeah, let's see. So started with the defense clarifying a few facts about Julia, including confirming she grew up in Wrocław, which of course is Poland. She's also asked about the secondary school she went to and her education. I wanted to become an X-ray technician, she says, of her desire to go to medical school. Because my father and his wife worked in this profession, that's why I wanted to try, she says. She later quit the course and in 2023 applied to study criminology at university, she adds. I was accepted and I started this in October 2023, but because of my personal journey, I decided to resign from the university. So because of her personal journey, what, because she was trying to prove she was Madeleine McCann. Anyway, she then is asked about her parents, who she says are now separated, and her family. And she's asked, do you believe that you are their daughter? She says no. When asked what led her to believe this, she explains, when I was a teenager, I started therapy because of extreme levels of self-harm. This, she says, led her to believe this, as well as differences between her and her mother's appearances. My mother has natural brown hair and brown eyes, she says. My father has dark hair, now they're grey, but he had dark hair and brown eyes as well. Now, you know what it's like for teenagers. Sometimes they don't even grow out of it. They're always resentful towards their parents, aren't they? Or often. I shouldn't say always, because not all teenagers are. But, there's probably a lot of times when teenagers wish they were adopted, because you just don't realise until you're older, the things about, you're so critical of your parents when you're a teenager, aren't you? Everything they do is wrong. You can't see things from any other point of view except your own. So Julie won't be the first teenager who thought, oh God, I'm not part of this family, they're different to me or whatever. But she's just took it to extremes, hasn't she? Normally, as time goes on, she's still quite young. She's only 24, isn't she? So she is still quite young. Maybe by the time she gets to 30, she might appreciate her parents a bit more. Let's hope so. Or certainly it might even be older than that. Might even be she won't appreciate them until she has children of her own and realizes how bloody difficult it is bringing up children. So, anyway, so her one of her reasons for not thinking she is their daughter is because she thinks she doesn't look enough like them. And she tells the court she has a few memories from school, but these start at around 8 or 9 years old. And she said that she'd asked her parents for childhood photos for a long time, but they wouldn't show her. What's she saying? That they've got photos, but they won't show her, or they haven't got any photos of her when she was a child? There might just be parents that didn't take many photos. I think what people tend to do, anyway, I'm only going by it, when your child's first born, you do take a lot of photos, don't you? Baby pictures. What I've noticed, if I put all my photos of my son, you notice that they start off so prolific, loads and loads and loads. And then as they get older, they do get less and less. And half of that is because they don't want their photo taken. When they're kids, little kids, they don't have a choice. They're just like, oh, smile. And as they get older, it's like, oh, don't take my photo. I don't want my photo taken. And then by the time they're teenagers, you're lucky if you can get them on a photo at all. So I don't know if that's what's happened with Julia. I don't know. Has she not done a DNA test with her parents? Wouldn't that be what I don't understand? Oh, so here she's saying, she then tells Leicester Crown Court she tried to get hold of her birth certificate, and she says she asked her parents many times, but they never wanted to provide me with it. And Julia told the court she wanted it because she believed she was adopted. And she says she was told she wasn't adopted, but this made her question more. And describing an interaction with a local official, she says, she told me my parents were my parents and I wasn't adopted. Well, there you go. So surely, if you were thinking you weren't your parents' child, the first thing you would do is a DNA test with them, isn't it? Before you started demanding complete strangers of a DNA test. Anyway, she says she discussed DNA with her parents many times, and she asked them for a test plenty of times, but they always refused to give her a DNA test. I don't think I believe that. I'd like to hear her parents' side of it. It made me feel a bit surprised because I didn't expect them to refuse, especially because at that time I still dealt with a lot of emotional problems. I think these parents have probably gone through hell with Julia. She says she called the registry in the city where she was born, to get a copy of her birth certificate, but she was told straight away she wasn't adopted. That made me question even more, because in Poland, this official institution, they're not allowed to give this personal information without verification. Do you know, it doesn't matter what you say to Julia. I think this is what I've said. You know, if tomorrow Madeleine McCann walked in through the door of that courtroom and said, "I'm Madeleine," Julia would still be saying, "Oh, I want a DNA test." I mean, she has had a DNA test now, but of course she still doesn't accept it. She's not going, you know, she's so determined. She's so obsessed. She's never going to change her thoughts. You know, if this, she'll end up trying to prove she's somebody else. If it was ever proven that she wasn't Madeleine, which I believe it has been personally, she'd try to be someone else, you know, because she just doesn't want to be Julia. So the court hears that after seeing a psychologist, she began to question her identity, and she tells the court of her struggles with her mental health and self-harm growing up, which led to her going in and out of therapy. And she's asked by defence counsel Tom Price QC about one therapist in particular. As a consequence of that psychologist, did you start to question aspects of your life? To which she replies, yes. It is directly connected, she later adds after further questions. She offers no more information on the specific psychologist, apart from that it was a woman. I started with asking questions because I just could not believe there was nothing else in the story of what happened to me. I started asking my parents about everything. What are your blood groups? Is there anything else that happened to me you don't tell me about? And she said that she still questions her identity today. So don't forget this. So what she did then, she started looking for looking through missing persons databases for anyone that she could possibly be. So far, all the questioning has been about how she became to dispute her identity and what she did. And she tells her counsel she decided to check out missing persons databases to see if any were my kind of age and of a similar appearance. I mean, why would you do that? You know, she's found out, she's been told she's not adopted, first of all by her parents, then by officialdom. And now she's not only thinking she's adopted, but she can't just be any old adopted person. Do you know what I mean? She has to be a missing person. She has to have been abducted and, you know, sold into a family or whatever. You know, it's I think even people who know they're adopted don't normally do that, do they? Go through missing persons databases to try and find someone who fits with them or whatever. Anyway, the jury's told her different databases she went through and how she conducted her searches. There were a lot of people around my age, she says, and she explained she came across one name, Acacia Bishop, that she researched more into, at one point thinking she may have a connection to her. And she adds, I thought maybe I should check out some other missing children. Dear me. So she says she first became aware of Madeleine McCann in June 2022. So not that long ago, because of course she is young, so she won't remember when it first happened. And, you know, so she first became aware of Madeleine McCann in June 2022 when in hospital. She came across the missing English toddler by searching on missing persons databases with an age range of 3 years plus or minus her age. And she describes how she found the website, relating to the girl's disappearance, and she joined Facebook groups dedicated to Madeleine McCann. And she said there were a lot of people talking about a lot of theories in the groups. And she said she found indicators on the website that led her to think she was Madeleine McCann. And she says her motivation was, I just wanted to find out who I am. So then she contacted Operation Grange, which is the police operation, and she said, hello, I'm writing to you because I think I could be Madeleine McCann. The reason why I think I could be Maddie, one, I saw the pictures when I was younger. I had the mark on my eye. It's a little faded now. She then goes on to cite several further reasons why she believes she may be Madeleine, and these include her documents might be faked and she may actually be younger, that her parents wouldn't show her her birth certificate, and a lack of memories before she was 9. And the court hears this isn't the first time she tried to contact Operation Grange because she thought she could be Madeleine. So she then attempted to contact Kate and Jerry McCann in 2022. She phoned a hospital in Leicester to try and get to them. And she says the reason she contacted the hospital was because she was ignored by the police. I admit I contacted the hospital, but the reason was because the police wouldn't help me, she says. The call lasted more than 20 minutes, the court hears. So that's when it really properly started, isn't it? So the court heard that Julia attempted to contact embassies, ministries, journalists, private detectives across the UK, Portugal and Poland, as she believes she may be Madeleine. And she says she did this because I did not want to contact Kate and Jerry and the McCann family until I contacted every single person I can. I did everything before. While she faced questions from Tom Price, she was asked about all the places she reached out to by email or phone. A British investigative journalist, I wonder who that was, that could have been Mark Williams-Twonk, German police, and a number of missing persons groups. Yeah, I wonder who that British investigative journalist might have been. That seems to be going back to the beginning again. So the court restarted again with Julia asked about more people she had contacted. She said, I called the hospital many times without a positive effect. And the court also hears that she called a friend of the McCann's parents. She found them on Facebook. She also contacted Belgian Interpol and a university academic in Wroclaw. She repeatedly reached out to Operation Grange, and in one email to them, she said, hello, I have a question. Does Madeleine have any birth spots on her body? And this was asked to see if she could match her own marks to what she believed Madeleine McCann had. And in a separate message, she added, I had very similar eyes to Madeleine. Please tell me, can I be Madeleine? I know it sounds a bit weird, but I think I could be Madeleine McCann. So, yeah, he's just really going over what she said. Now, apparently, according to Martin Brunt, she said she was abused by an elderly relative, a man her father told her had once kidnapped someone. She said she began to think she might have been abducted and started researching missing person websites. And so her lawyer asked her, were you attracted to the Madeleine case because of the publicity? And she said, no. Were you attracted by the possibility of making financial gain? And she said, no. So she was asked, what was your interest? And she said, I just wanted to find out who I am. And she later discovered her abuser shared the same surname as a previous suspect in the Madeleine case, and that was a big factor for her, she told the court. And you know what? This is the girl at the centre of all this. This is really this girl, frozen in time, isn't she? 3 years old, never been seen since. There'll be no new photos of Madeleine. So she said, I tried to contact them many times. I just wanted to try everything, every institution before getting in touch with them directly. That was a funny message that just came on my phone. So Wandel appeared to accept she wasn't Madeleine at first, but when she was told by an officer they didn't think she was Madeleine, the court hears she did not accept this opinion. However, she contests what took place and she frames herself as a victim in need of help. She says, I don't think this ever took place, and if it did, I don't ever recall it, she tells the jury. And she repeats her claim that she pursued all this because she wanted to know, and she would have happily accepted the result of a DNA test. Well, that's not actually true, because a DNA test was done when she was arrested this year, but she is still not accepting it, is she? Yeah, I don't, anyway, never mind. I don't think best move on from that picture. Hey, Angel. Hi, Shay. So, she then goes on to talk about the first time she reached out to Jerry McCann. She says it was June 2022. I thought the police would help, and after all this time trying to get help from them, I realised they would not help. So at that time, I thought the journalists are here to tell the truth. She messaged Jerry McCann on 9th of June 2023. She says, I think they deserve to know the truth. She says, interrupting her own counsel to later add, I even have sympathy for them. They look for their child. I look for my parents. And when she was asked if she disliked Jerry and Kate, she said, no. I always defended them. I even now defend them. And she says she never meant them any harm. Dear me. So the court then hears about her reaching out to contact Amelie, Madeleine McCann's sister. She says she thinks she found Amelie through Facebook, but wasn't sure if it was her at first. And she sent the message, I'm not sure you'll answer me. I'm the girl who went viral. Oh, for God's sake. I'm the girl who went viral. I mean, that's just... Again, it's just like boasting almost, isn't it? For saying she was Madeleine McCann. And in her message to Amelie, she makes a series of claims about being Madeleine McCann. She says she went to hypnosis, which she says led to memories. I know what happened. I really know. I think you're my only hope. The court is told, believe me, please, that's all I'm asking for. She's awful, really. I go through round in this circle of feeling sorry for her, and then when I hear these things that she's saying, the way she said them, I just think, oh, for God's sake. Anyway, the message ends with Wandel asking Amelie to contact her. She gives her a phone number. And of course, Amelie did not contact her. And just before court wrapped up for the day, she said she believed the police are not interested in finding Madeleine. She contacted Jerry directly in June 2023, around a year after she claimed she first believed she could be their daughter. And when she was asked why she contacted him directly, she replied, because I think they were misled because of the police treated their daughter's case the way they treated me. I'm not surprised they didn't find their daughter, and I think they should know, because my case is just an example of how police are still abusing cases. It's 18 years since Madeleine disappeared. The police are not interested in finding Kate and Jerry's daughter. That is my opinion. And asked about the hate she's received, she says there was a bounty on her head. I don't know if it was a joke, but someone did this, she added. Second thing, I was getting a lot of hate, people wishing I would die. Well, that's not right, is it? You know, you wouldn't wish that on her. But of course you're going to get a lot of hate. You know, she's on social media. You know, she went viral, according to her, but not everybody's going to agree with her. But of course, it's not right to say things like that to her. Sorry, I just got to look at this. Sorry. Okay, nothing interesting, just money being taken out for something else. Nobody ever gives you money for this, always just goes. So that's what she thinks, that the police are not interested in finding Madeleine. The thing is, the police know she is not Madeleine. That's really what it comes down to, isn't it? Let's have a look at this video.
At Do You Spain, you have the perfect hire car at just one click. Book your hire car in 3 minutes at the best price guaranteed.
Well, Julia Wandelt is the first defence witness, and she was called just after lunchtime for the start of the defence case, and she walked very purposely from the dock to the witness box, and for the past 2 hours has been answering questions from her own lawyer very confidently and in very good accented English. She was one of the first things that she was asked by her lawyer was whether she still felt that she was her parents were her true parents, her Polish parents, and she said that she still today didn't believe that they were. They had different hair and eye colourings, she said. That was one of the first things they noticed. She noticed. They didn't talk to her about her childhood when she became a teenager. They didn't show her.
Well, you know, my dad was blonde. I mean, you're probably thinking, oh, you're blonde. I wasn't blonde when I've gone blonde. It's grey, really, and a little bit of blonde from living in Spain for so many years. My hair is just bleached out completely. But I know I was dark. My mum was dark. But then my mum had brown eyes. My dad had blue eyes and blonde hair. And I was dark, but I had like grey eyes. You know, people don't always look exactly like their parents, do they?
Her family photographs, she said. She never saw her birth certificate. And when she asked more questions and even asked them to take a DNA test to establish their relationship, her parents, she said, refused to do that. She then went on to talk about how she was abused, she said, as a child.
Now, I don't know why they refused to do a DNA test. It just seems to me a bit, you know, everyone sort of saying, well, why don't Kate and Jerry just do a DNA test? But, you know, at the end of the day, why don't her parents just do it to shut her up, you know? And because this all gives her food, if you like, into her claim that she's adopted. Every time they say they're probably like, we're not doing a bloody DNA test. I'm just thinking, if I would have asked my dad for a DNA test, I'd go, bloody, what the bloody hell are you talking about, love? It would have been, you know, I don't think he would have gone for a DNA test. You know, you can imagine them saying it, can't you? What do you mean a bloody DNA test? I'm not doing a DNA test. You know. And this about she wouldn't show that they won't show her her birth certificate. I said, you can apply for a copy of your birth certificate. You know, she's an adult. She could just apply for a copy of her birth certificate. She doesn't have to get one off her parents. So, you know, I just don't believe this.
By an elderly relative, a man who was later convicted in court, and a man she said her father told her had once abducted somebody. So she began, she said, to suspect that she might be an abducted missing person. So she started to research cases of missing people. That's when she said she came across the case of Madeleine McCann, at which point her lawyer asked her, had she chosen that case for publicity? No, she said. Had she chosen it for financial gain? No, she said. I just wanted to know who I am. She later discovered that her abuser...
Yeah, that's a very good point, Shay. How did she get a passport to go to Britain if she hadn't got a birth certificate? She must have, you can't just, you need a birth certificate to get a passport. So at some point she must have had access to a birth certificate. That's a good point. How has she ended? Because, you do know it's not free movement, is it? So you can't travel to Britain without a passport. So how has she got there? Why, you think the bloody prosecution lawyer would ask that? You should be a prosecution lawyer, Shay. That's a very good point. Why didn't they say to her, how did you get a passport?
Shared the same surname as one of the early suspects in the Madeleine McCann case. That, she said, for her was a big factor. Her lawyer then said that she had contacted lots of organisations, police forces, embassies in Germany and Portugal and England and in Poland, and a number of journalists and private investigators in her search for her background. Why so many had she contacted, the lawyer asked. She said that she didn't at that stage want to go directly to the McCanns to ask them if she might be Madeleine, because she felt that that would upset them. And it might give them false hope, she said. In the last few minutes, her lawyer said that Scotland Yard detectives later told her that she wasn't Madeleine McCann, and she hadn't appeared to accept that. She told the court in the last few minutes that she didn't recall that telephone call. Now, Julia Wandel is likely to spend the rest of the day and probably sometime tomorrow in the witness box.
Yeah, and I tell you, this girl, she's going to end up with some prison time. I feel for her, but she was given a lot of warnings, I think. So it's back on today. So that was yesterday. Proceedings have just begun. And she's, she's facing questions, this time from her defence counsel. And the defence begins by running through a series of messages she sent to friends of the McCann family. And one of them, the court hears read, "Please help me. I've tried everything to contact Kate, Jerry, Amelie. I don't care about any money or publicity." On this, Price asks why she brings up money and if she received any. And Wandel initially says no, but under further questioning says she did receive money on occasion. But she says she used it to try and help her efforts looking into her identity. So where would she receive money from? Anyway, my friends advised me to ask people for help. I felt bad about this, especially. This is not their life. I should be able to take care of myself. I'm ashamed of this because I know what it looks like. I did not want to end up homeless on the street with my boyfriend telling me I have to move out straight away. And the court hears she received about £400. Well, it's not loads of money, is it? I mean, it's a lot of money, of course, but, not life-changing amount, is it? So she had a boyfriend at the time, and he's told her to move. He's probably sick of it. It's like this. I do again. I'm feeling sorry for her again now. That might change. I go through this feeling sorry for her, don't feel sorry for her, feeling sorry for her, don't. I do think she's been manipulated by people who should know better. But I do think she's obsessed and she doesn't really care about anybody else's feelings. So then he goes on to talk about more of the messages that she sent to people around the McCann family. And in one of the messages to someone named in court as David Payne, she says, I can't contact them in any way. There's no way to contact them. And the court hears, she adds, I asked so many times for help. And in response, Payne says, I'm sorry, I don't know who you are. I don't know. You're just calling me randomly. And she says, all doors are closed, all doors are closed. Police don't want to help me. And she then explains why she went to social media with her claims. And she says, the reason I went to social media with all these things was because the police ignored me. Now, the police did not ignore her. They did not ignore her. They just told her she is not Madeleine McCann. So that's what Julia calls ignoring her. Not, what, I suppose if you turn around and say, oh yeah, you are Madeleine. What would she be taken aback, wouldn't she? Because she's like just constantly on this mantra, I'm Madeleine, prove I'm Madeleine, help me. She throws herself on people's mercy, like she's the victim. And then she says they were ignoring her, but they didn't ignore her. But it gets to a point when how many times can they tell her she is not Madeleine McCann? And then they probably did start ignoring her, but they didn't ignore her in the beginning. She says, I truly believe I might be Madeleine. Could you get me in touch with them in any way? So she uses other people as well, emotional blackmail, to try and get in touch with the McCanns. So apparently she flew to the US for a DNA test, but ended up on a talk show. She tells the court she flew out to meet with Dr. Thea Johansson, with whom she stayed in Orange County, Los Angeles. She said that Johansson contacted her when she made an Instagram account called I Am Madeleine McCann before they went to the US together. She said she's another one. She said she would be able to help me. A lot of people were warning me, saying it could be dangerous. I was desperate. She said she's in touch with Kate and Jerry McCann, and they agreed for a DNA test with me. And her defense lawyer, Tom Price, said, did you believe her? And she said yes. She came to Poland. She flew from the United States. It should have been a red flag to me, but it wasn't at the time. She took over my Instagram account even before she came to Poland. However, in the US, Wandel claims, Johansson's attitude changed and she did not organise a DNA test. Instead, she claims that she asked about her making a documentary and helped facilitate her appearance on Dr. Phil. Has she been on Dr. Phil? God. Oh my God. He's another one then, using her. She says she was not paid for this appearance. I don't know that I believe that. But anyway, maybe not. I mean, how did she pay for her trip to the US? That won't have been cheap, will it? So where's she got the money from? Where's she got the money from for her trip to the UK when she got arrested? Where's she got her money from the trip to the UK when she went to visit Jerry and Kate? Where has she got any of her money from? Because I don't think she works, does she? So she then left the US, flying back to Europe, and in court, she appears to get upset once more. And that's the other thing, she starts crying whenever things aren't going her way. She starts crying, and then people feel bad for her. But does she feel bad for Jerry and Kate and for Amelie and Sean? Probably not. Yeah. So she then left before leaving, she said she signed documents with Johansson, including giving her fingerprints, but she didn't know what she had signed. She then left the US, flying back to Europe. And in court, she appears to get upset once more, and her defense counsel tells her to take a moment. Yeah. And the latest post was just 25 minutes ago. I just don't know how people can lie so much. And she says so yesterday we talked about Surjit Singh, and he comes up again now with Tom Price, asking what she hoped to gain through working with him. A DNA test, she says. Even at that point, Wandelt claims she had her doubts and says little was achieved. And she says, I just don't know how people can lie so much. Well, that's ironic, isn't it? Ironic that she doesn't know how people can lie so much. Anyway, now I'm going to just take a little short break. I'm going to put on a video. I've got a new video about my Spanish books. I'm going to put that on because we're on the latest thing then. When I come back, I'll see if anything else has come up. That may finish then for the day. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what's come up. So I'm just going to put this video on. Won't be long. Have a bathroom break, etc. Oh, I need to put the video on. Oh. Yes, I've got a new video about my books, my Spanish books. Hi, 9 Lives.
Hola.
Hola, soy yo, Vicky, otra vez. It's me, Vicky, again. And I just want to tell you about my Spanish books. If you're trying to learn Spanish and you'd like to learn at home, maybe you don't have time for classes. And I do offer classes online or in the classroom. But if you can't get to classes and you think you could learn at home, why not try my books? So let me just go through them with you. So level 1 for beginners or beginners with a base. Level 1 will take you through, gone on to level 2. Level 1 will take you, try pausing it, Vicky, that helps. Yeah, right, let's start. Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie, and I'm here to tell you about my books to learn Spanish. Have you always wanted to learn Spanish? Don't have time for classes? I mean, I do offer classes online, of course. But if you don't have time for actual classes, you may be able to learn at home with my books, combined with my YouTube channel, which has a backup for every exercise we do in the books is backed up on the YouTube channel. So then it's just a question of deciding what level are you. If you're a beginner or a beginner with a base, level 1 is what you need. It takes you through the basics and through the present tense. If you know that already, if you already know all the basics, you've done some conjugations, some grammar in the present tense, you know some verbs, etc., then maybe level 2 is a better level for you. Now, I call this one the pain barrier. All these books break the language barrier, but level 2, I call it the pain barrier because it deals with the past tenses, which are difficult, challenging. You know, nobody said it's easy to learn another language. But I do believe my method makes it as easy as possible, let's say. I try and present things in a simplistic way. It's need to know grammar. It's a lot of making questions, etc. In, you know, teaching you proper Spanish. In other words, it's not phrasebook Spanish, not just teaching you sentences. It's teaching you how to put sentences together yourselves, and particularly questions, etc. So my method's a combination of reading, writing, speaking, listening. It's a combination of everything. And as I say, all of these books are backed up by YouTube videos so that you can practice pronunciation, etc., and listening. Now, level 2, as I say, it goes through the pain barrier, goes through the past tenses, the pesky pronouns. Nobody like, you know, what you always have to remember is the problems that we have in learning language in Spanish are the same for everybody. Every English speaker, doesn't matter if they are English, American, Swedish, any Australian, Canadian, whatever, as long as if you're an English speaker, maybe it's not English is not even your first language, but you'll be able to learn through my books, because my books have explanations in English, and they've been designed over 25 years, especially to teach Spanish to English speakers. So if you understand English, the Spanish is presented to you in a way that an English speaker will understand, because we have unique problems. Spanish is different. That's all. It's different. And once that clicks, it's different from English, it gets a lot easier. But you have to get through level 2, definitely. Level 2 is the hardest level. I'll hold my hands up and say that. I always refer to it as the pain barrier. But once you get through that and you come to level 3, it's that little bit easier, because not only you've already by now got a background in grammar, etc., you understand a bit more the way Spanish works, etc. You should be having conversations in the present and past tenses. And then we come into the future tense, which is much easier in Spanish than the past tenses. Now, the future tense, the pronunciation's a little bit tricky, but of course it's backed up by my YouTube videos. We do more pesky pronouns in this level. We do the imperative, the command mode. We do lots of things, but I think you'll find that level 3 is a bit of a breath of fresh air after level 2. So listen, I'm not here to tell you can learn Spanish in a month, or anything like that. Learning Spanish or any language is an ongoing process. It's almost like you can take it as far as you want to take it. It never sort of ends. It's even like think of your own language. You're always learning new things, new words, new ways of speaking. That's in your own language. So it's the same with Spanish. Some of my students, they only do level 1. They're happy with what they've got after level 1. They can do the things that they want to do. Then there's other students that want to go further to level 2 or even level 3, etc. And some students take it all the way along the line until they become fluent. So the next stage after level 3 is level 4. Level 4 goes into the sexy subjunctive. The subjunctive is this sort of mysterious. Sorry, just let me go back to show you the book. They're all color coded. So all these books are available on Amazon, any Amazon. So it doesn't matter where you live in this crazy world we're living in. You can order my books on Amazon. And Break the Language Barrier level 4, that's the green book. We deal with mainly this, what I call it, the sexy subjunctive. We've got to be positive about this grammar. The subjunctive is another thing that confuses everybody. But if you get to the point where you want to learn about it, level 4 is the book for you. And by the time you finish then level 4, that, as far as my method is concerned, is all the grammar that you need now when I talk about being fluent, now my courses, they're not for university Spanish. We want to get a degree in Spanish, you need a little bit more. My method is for communicative Spanish. People who live in Spain or who like traveling around, not only Spain, because don't forget, Spain is widely spoken around the world. Anybody who likes traveling and wants to be able to communicate at the end of the day, if you know Spanish and English, these are 2 massive languages. You should be able to communicate anywhere you go in the world if you know those 2 languages. You might want it for job reasons. It might be to improve your employment prospects that you want to learn another language, and particularly Spanish, because it's so broadly spoken. It's the fastest growing language in America, in the US. Of course, South America, everybody speaks Spanish. But in the United States, there are lots of places where Spanish is widely spoken. So it improves your job prospects, also improves your cognitive ability to learn any new language. Scientists have proven that it improves your cognitive ability to try and learn a language. It can stave off things like Alzheimer's and dementia, etc. Your brain needs to be used, just like the rest of your body. So think, this is a way that you can improve your cognitive ability as well. And it improves your whole experience. If you live in Spain, if you travel in Spain, or you live in South America, travel around South America, your whole experience is improved if you can speak the language. You see, you imagine if you live in Spain and you don't speak Spanish, you're only seeing a tiny window of Spain and the culture and the lifestyle and the people. You learn Spanish and suddenly you can see the whole picture. It helps you with your day-to-day sort of, if you get into any problems or dealing with the police, dealing with hospitals, dealing with anything official like that. They're not going to speak to you in English. Why should they? This is Spain. People don't like it if people don't speak in their own language, in the language of their country, and it's fair enough, isn't it? You owe it to a country that you go to live in, especially. Not so much when you're on holiday. You're on holiday. But even then, it is just good manners to try and learn something at least. But I think if you actually live in a country, you need to speak that country's language. Of course you do. Not only for you, because it does make your life better, but just to be, it's manners, isn't it? It's polite. Okay, now then, so you've got 4 levels to actually learn Spanish, and then level 5, this is a book to practice what you know. So this book is for those of you who've already gone through all the pain barrier, if you like, of learning Spanish. Maybe your Spanish is quite good, but maybe you don't get much chance to practice it. And so level 5 would be for you. In level 5, there are games, there are translations, they're both ways, translations from English to Spanish, translations from Spanish to English. There are conversation practices. There's everything you need to all different levels. So each the exercises have a level of difficulty. So it's not a book that you have to start at the beginning and go progress through. You can cherry pick what you want to do. You look down the index. Oh, let's have a look at this conversation practice used in the future, or let's have a look at this translation from English to Spanish, quite a difficult one. There's let's do these games. There are games. There are all sorts of things in there that will help by, just keep you practicing. Because you know what, learning a language is difficult. That's the first thing I'm here to say to you. It's not an overnight process. It takes time, it takes effort, but hopefully you enjoy it, and think of the benefits of it. But the other thing is you have to keep it up, because sometimes, maybe you go to classes once a week. It's not enough, is it? To keep it going, and maybe then you miss 3 months over the summer, or you miss a month at Christmas, and you don't speak any Spanish for a month, and you have to get back into it again. And so this book is good for that, I think. And all my recommendations, just of all the books, I would recommend, don't write in the books. I mean, they're your books. Once you've bought them, do what the hell you like in a way. But if you don't write in the actual books, you can go back and do those exercises again and again. And they say you have to do things 11 times before you get them correct. So, yeah, say you're going to, maybe you're out there and you're trying to talk to someone and suddenly you realise you've forgotten the irregulars of the past tense, the irregular verbs, or you've forgotten the verb to go in the past tense. So, yeah, you go back in your books, do the exercises again. That's my recommendation. Repetition. Work hard, but enjoy it. And classes, I think, always are necessary at some point. And if you can't, you know, if you're not around near me where you can come to classes, we can do internet classes. If you're interested in internet classes, just contact me and we can see what we can sort out. So thank you for watching, and yeah, let me just take this back, show you all the books once again. Level 1, Level 2, the pain barrier. Level 3, starts to get easier again then. Level 4, sexy subjunctive. Level 5, putting it all together, practicing. Anyway, let me know how you get on as well. If you have ever ordered any of my books, please leave me a review on Amazon. That would be good. But also, let me know, how did you get on? Did you find it useful? You know, I'd like to start putting out some reviews from people. I mean, I have got emails that people have sent me, and the general thing that people say. So let me just, sorry, I should say, my books are all easy to follow, step by step, gradual build is my method. The answers are in the back of the books, but they're only to be looked at to check, not to actually answer the questions. And explanations are all in English and supported by the YouTube channel. So what are you waiting for? Another thing is they're good presents. If you know someone who maybe is interested in learning Spanish, good Christmas presents. We've got Christmas coming up. It's different, isn't it? You know, you've just, oh God, what am I going to buy Auntie whoever for Christmas? You know, does she go on holiday to Spain, or is it Uncle Joe? Does he go on holiday to Spain? Level 1 is a book that will, you know, anybody can follow, and it'd be really useful for anyone who wants to have basic conversations. So yeah, why not think about it for a present? Okay, that's it. I'm going. So I'll see you really soon, as always, in the next video. And until then, may your... Now then, funnily enough, I am going to go. So thank you for... oh, hang on. Where am I going here? I want to go... I'm going to clear that off. Thank you for sitting through that. Now, I just went back on the... Sky News. Is it receipt? Oh, yeah, they had a short break. Oh, but they have come back. So I'm going to go back. Right, okay. Let's see. Go back to this, isn't it? Ah, right. Hang on. Oh, no, I want to take that off now. I want to add that one. Yes, so we are back. We're back at the court case. Julia was testifying, so they've just had a short break, but they're back. And let's see, proceedings. The judge has retaken her seat, and proceedings have resumed in the trial. So where were we up to? Yesterday afternoon and this morning, we've been hearing from Julia Wendell under questioning from her own defence. And now this is continuing with the prosecution expected to take over later. And so the latest update, which was only 2 minutes ago, the court hears details of Wendell's message to Kate McCann. So just before the court took a break, see what time I'm going to have to take a break in a minute. The court was told, hang on. The court was told about a voice message that Julia Wendell left for Kate McCann, Madeleine's mother. And the court heard yesterday of the 24-year-old Polish woman's attempts to contact dozens of institutions about her claims. Today it has moved on to her attempts to contact the McCann family. She tried to call Madeleine McCann's mother, leaving a message. Defence counsel Tom Price, QC, reads out some parts of her message. Hi, it's me, Julia. I know you don't want to speak to me. I don't know why. I don't understand this. I just need one call with you, that's all. Now, we all know it wouldn't have just been one call, would it? I don't need anything else, and I can promise that if after the call you're not able to speak to me, I will not bother you. I just want to tell you what I remember. You can decide if you want to do a DNA test or not. I'm not crazy. I just want you to know that I never lied. I don't want money. All I need is one call with you. Now, we know that it wouldn't be just one call, would it? Because it'd be one call. She'd speak to Kate. Kate would say to her, oh, I've lost one of my earrings. Kate would say to her, I know you're not Madeleine. And Julie would say, oh, just listen to me. Oh, God, my earring fell out. She would say to her, oh, just listen to me. I am Madeleine. Can we have a DNA test? And it wouldn't matter. How's that fallen off? It wouldn't matter what Kate said. Julia would not be happy with what Kate said unless Kate said, oh, you are my daughter. So, you know, it wouldn't be one phone call, would it? You know, it would be many phone calls and it wouldn't stop, you know. So anyway, then apparently she was asked about contact with her co-defendant, Karen Spragg, and defence counsel Tom Price moves on to discussing contact Julia had with Kate McCann. So, as far as Karen Spragg was concerned, Wandelt says they were talking daily and discussing everything. Then she explains why she reached out to Kate McCann in April 2024, getting her phone number from the Portuguese side. God, how did she do that? It makes you wonder, doesn't it? The Portuguese today, you know, the Portuguese police are very down on the McCanns, aren't they? Makes you wonder if they give her the number like to cause trouble or whatever. Asked if she was aware that the topic of Madeleine was a sensitive one for the parents, Julia says yes, and she insists she never intended to cause harm to the McCann family. And Wandelt claims that she believed reaching out would be helpful. And she tells the jury, I got the impression that police did not pass any information to Kate and Jerry. I just thought they were misled and I just wanted to explain. Now, I'm going to have to go in a minute because I've got to go and have my lunch, etc. And now I'll be either back later today with the rest of it or I'll be back tomorrow with it, but definitely we'll be carrying on bringing you the information from this trial. I mean, you know, I don't know how long it's going to go on for. It'd be interesting to see the prosecution cross-examining Julia. I think she'll start crying again, won't she? Because so far it's the defence and she's getting an easy ride, isn't she, from her own defence? But when the prosecution starts, she won't get an easy ride. So, you know, she's bound to start crying. I think you can be 99% certain Julia is going to start crying when she starts getting cross-examined, isn't she? But anyway. So, thank you for watching. And yeah, I'm going to go get some lunch. But I'll be back. I'll be back. And I hope you're all well and fine. You're all looking after yourself. It's interesting, this court case, isn't it? Because I know a lot of people saying, oh, you know, it's a waste of money. And it is a waste of money, I think. And it's a waste of time or whatever. The thing is, the reason it's come to a court case, I don't think Jerry and Kate wanted it to go to a court case. You know, the reason it's come to a court case is because she started on Amelie and Sean. So she's really only got herself to blame. I believe there's not a way in the world that Jerry would have wanted this attention again, because they've gone up, you know, they don't want attention now, didn't they? They wanted all that attention in the early days. But I think now, you know, they don't do interviews, they don't want any attention, but they've been sort of driven to this. I do believe that they have because of Julia's and Karen's then trying to contact Sean and Emily, and they've drawn a line in the sand there, haven't they? Now, it may be a good thing. I mean, it may, bring things up again, and I don't know, get the attention on the case again. And sometimes I do wonder if the Operation Grange, what are they? What are the lines of inquiry? Like they said, they've got lines of inquiry going on. Now, do they mean Christian B? Do they mean somebody else completely? Or are they this case is not closed. Madeleine has not been found. And maybe never will be, bless her. But, it makes you wonder, with Julia, maybe it's a good thing that it's brought everything out into the open again, but I do feel that she's going to get some prison time, which is a shame. But anyway, she's only got herself to blame, really, and all those other people that are exploiting her. Okay, I'll end up waffling if I stay here. I can feel I'm hungry, so I'm like, I'm just waffling. I'll see you really soon in the next video. Thank you so much. And don't forget, if you want to learn Spanish, go on the Amazon and order my Spanish books. But anyway, look after yourselves. And until I see you again, as always, may your God go with you. We're going to have a cheerful video to finish, I think. Let's see, which one? I've got lots of videos. I've got so many songs. I've got more songs than Top of the Pops. Let's have this one.
Click that like if you're smiling today. Give a follow to help spread the play. Share the play with friends everywhere, so more can laugh and show they care. Like, follow, share, subscribe, don't hide. Join the Kimberlys, ride worldwide. Tap that bell so you never miss a dose of love and endless bliss. YouTube and others, search my name, Vicky Marie. Let's grow this flame. Thanks for the support. You're the best crew. Now go tell the world you know what to do. Vicky Marie. Today, give a follow to help spread the play. Share the joy with friends everywhere. Click that like if you're smiling today. Give a follow to help spread the play. Share the play with friends everywhere, so more can laugh and show they care. Like, follow, share, subscribe, don't hide. Join